Yay, I can see myself. Sorry, everybody. It just wouldn't let me go live. And I was like, please, please, please. Ah, phew, she says. Um, I haven't, hi, Alison. I haven't managed to put up a description because I was so busy panicking about going live that it was like, oh, I will get either Leonie or Mandy to do it, or I'll log back in and do it as well. Hi, Mandy. Hi, Vanessa. Hi, Jackie. Oh, one can take a deep breath. Sorry, I'm not on YouTube. For those who follow YouTube, it is still the Apple versus Android thing. We are trying to think of an alternative way of doing it, because otherwise it means Leonie's got to download, upload. Oh, it just makes more work than is actually needed at the end of the day. But hey ho. As I said, I'm just relieved I could log on. I'm just so relieved. Right, sorry, I'll stop panicking now. Right, I'm just going to move my coffee out the way before I get in the way. Right, tonight. Oh, and breathe. Yeah, Mandy. Oh, I was tapping the living daylights out of my phone. It's like, go, go, no, 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 no. So I think I've pressed the button. Why aren't you letting me? Anyhow. Whew. So tonight we're going to have a look at the Tim Holtz palette papers. And hi everyone I haven't said hello to. So the Tim Holtz palette papers, this is the first release. Tim is going to be, or Advantus, whichever company, Ideology, releasing different colour palettes, a bit like he's done recently with the things like the mini oxides and the spritz sprays. So they're releasing them in colour families, and the inspiration from these was taken from his fabric range, and how to change his fabric range into different, into different papers. So we've got the starting set, which is a red, an orange, and a pink. So I thought we'd have a quick look through. Now they come in 12 by 12 and 8 by 8, but I'm going to look at the 8 by 8. I'm just going to move my camera, my light a little bit, so it's not blinding too much, because they're both exactly the same, except it's 12. This is 8 by 8 and 12 by 12. Oh, sorry, Mandy. What if you said tonight's special 24-hour offer is 10% off all the palette papers, discount applied automatically at checkout. Ooh, that's good. So the palette papers were based on his fabric range, and I've thought, right, I was going to get them all out, but then I thought if I open them in front of you. So you get, as I said, it comes in two different sizes, 8 by 8 and 12 by 12. So let's get out the 8 by 8 papers and keep the front covers, because obviously all of these little bits here become collage bits. So the pink one, so you get 12 double-sided papers, but what you do is you get two designs. I'm just going to get the different designs together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. Okay, so you get two designs, but what I think is absolutely genius about these is that you get two paper designs. I'm trying to find two to show you. Right, okay. So you get two paper designs, and historically with any form of scrapbooking is if we get two paper designs, it means the reverse on these are identical. But what Tim decided to do was he wanted the reverse to be different. So you had the choice there for, so you could now, if you don't like this side, you've got a plainer background. Or in this instance, so it's the same paper design, but this time round on the back, it's mini postcards. So this will be exactly the same for the 12 by 12. So I thought that actually was a really unique way of doing the papers. And I haven't heard about that before. No, thought about that before. So that is one of the designs. But as I said, so you've got two of those designs, but the backgrounds are completely different. So you've got something a little bit different. Let's put you there. Let's see if I can grab the other one I was looking for. So we've got this one here. So we've got two of the same designs, which are the tickets, but then the backgrounds are completely different. So one is florals and one is an alphabet. So you can use those two sheets, or you've now got a choice of different backgrounds. And I think that, you know, that I don't know of anyone else who does that. I could be wrong. But, you know, so I thought that was for me, that was quite novel. And let me just grab, so again here, this, I love this one. It's very subtle, but it's got like a Baroque, it's got architectural feel to it. And this is in the pink palette, so it's pinks and blushes. But again, the reverse is completely different. So one is the postage stamps and one is the background, is the streets. So I'm just going to move that. But then if I look at the streets on this one, the background is different again. So it means even though you get two of every single design, the reverse on them is completely different. And I think that's an absolute genius idea. And when I first looked through the papers, I thought, oh, is it, isn't it? And then it takes the pressure off you, because you actually end up with more designs, even though you've got duplicates of them. And that just sent my head off in different loops of like, really? Am I imagining it? So again, two of the same, but the backgrounds are completely different. So, you know, you can take it in so many different ways. It's just like, wow. So, and again, so that one is, I'm going to bring this one in a minute. So then what you've also got is two lots of strips. I love strips because they make collage pieces. They're not coated, they're matte. I think that's my light Julie making them look like they're shiny. They're completely matte. But then those two are the same. Or those two. And this is the only two sheets in here where they are identical. But the others are all completely different backgrounds. So like if we get that one there, where's the clear? No, I think it's on one of these, yeah. So that plain background there, the opposite side of it is the strips, the collage strips, or the bingo. And I think it's a really, really clever design. So you get all of those different papers. So even though I'm showing you the 8x8, there's still two of each design, Jill. Yeah, they're just not, the designs are just repeated differently on each of the two pages, which I think is great. I've had great fun playing with them because each is a little bit different. So it's 12 sheets, two of each design, but each pair up in a completely different way. So that's the pink selection. I'll put you up there and I'll put you back. Where am I going to file you? Let's file you there. Now, all of the collections, all the paper designs are different. So that was the pink and this is the orange. And I'm going to say, I never really was an orange fan. Julie, it really messed with my head. And it took me ages to go, is it? Isn't it? And I ended up going back and finding Tim's video. And because I'd heard about it. And no, it was right. And I was just like, oh, okay. And I'm going to say, I think the orange are my favourite. And I never really was an orange fan. And I'm going to blame Leonie for it. It was a project I was doing and I couldn't think of something I needed to tie in it. I know, Jill, it does. But once you start using them, it's not quite as bonkers as it seems. Or maybe I just got used to using them. So the orange is, again, the same format, but it's completely different designs. So each three collections has a different lot of papers. So it's not like doing the same colours and the same designs. So, for example, if we go, I'm going to go for the two that are the same. So we've got the strips here. And as you can see, the strips are the only two that are identical out of the papers, i.e. both sides are the same. And then we've got the other sheets. So if I pull up, for example, okay, I'll go through them and do it that way. Yeah, I was just counting that I hadn't taken any out, sorry. So we have the plainer ones and we have more busier ones. So this is different maps. It's showing maps of Liverpool and the River Mersey. But the reverse is the ditzy florals. I love this one, the botanical. Really, really love the big botanical. But we've got a plainer background on the back. Precisely die, yeah. This one, again, I mean, don't forget with the 12 by 12, I've got the 12 by 12 here to show you. You've got all the different options there. Or you've got the mushrooms and the flora and fauna. Love this one in the 12 by 12. I think I've obliterated my version of it. They just really stand out absolutely fantastically. Then we've got the well, I know this says orange, but it's got little pinks and red tones. So it shows you that they will all work together. This is the postage stamps, but then we've got that same botanical again. So we've got two of that, but different backgrounds. So if you were doing double-sided or doing envelopes or pockets, it means I could use that paper twice, but no, the inside of my design is going to be either postage or I can do it plain orange. Again, we've got the maps, and you saw the maps of the River Mersey, which was on the back there, but that background is the postage stamps. So, as I said, two of the same, but the backgrounds are different. It actually, do you know what it does? It's a bit like a trompe-l'oeil, isn't it? It gives you the illusion that you've got, you know, more designs, and well, you have got loads more, but in a different way. So we've got this beautiful design. It's like a marigold, a vintage marigold effect. Di, I'm with you. Once you flip them, yeah. We've then got the tickets, and then you can see that's the same design there, but obviously the reverse is completely different. So you get to choose. So for instance, I thought these would be really good if you were doing junk journals, because you could technically use the same design, but the insides would be completely different each time you did it. Or, you know, like Paola's, the binding albums she made. I thought these would work absolutely brilliant with those die sets. So that design there. The mushrooms again. And for the mushrooms, where I love the mushrooms in the 12 by 12, I've cut mine up. So we've got, as I said, two of the designs, but again, the reverse is completely different. One is vintage tickets and one is more like a floral. But you've still got two, but I'll still have two of those and I'll still have two of those. They just put them together in a completely different way. And then we've got the strips, or plain on the other side. And I love the strips because these are separate little collage cards, or, you know, or use them as a plain background. So they are the orange set. And then, oh, let's just grab, whoa, sorry, I'm going to put these over here before I drop them on the floor. And then finally, we've got the red. Sorry, I've got the red underneath here because the red is the main project I'm going to work with. Blue and grey, definitely. Some of it's a bit old lady wallpaper. I do get that, Lillian. But I think sometimes it's, yeah, old. I think you collage a little bit more that way. So these are the reds. And again, it's the same idea, but the reds are completely different designs compared to the oranges and the pinks. The continuity still lasts with the strips, the collage strips. So if you're doing different projects or you want to do different bands on everything, they all work along those lines. So that remains the same, i.e. the collage strips remains the same. The other thing that remains the same is the collage strips going vertically as well. So we've got these, which is like the alphabet. I like this because if you didn't want to use the collage strips, you could cut these out quite easily into cards. Put it there. Got this beautiful ditzy floral. And then on the back of it, you've got tickets. I mean, if you wanted to cut all those out, you could. I love this one. I just think this one is like faded, grungy. It looks like a gel print to me, this one. But on the back of it is a ledger. But because you've got the crease of the ledger, if you wanted to fold that to do your junk journaling, it looks like you've got two ledger pages straight away. So I'm really pleased that they kept that fold in, because I think that's brilliant to do, you know, to keep those in. We've then got the postage stamps, or a plain red. The ledger again, so where I had the ledger on the back of the one which had that background, the ledger on this one has got the maps background, and it's a map of, it says Rome, but modern Rome. So again, you've got two of each design, but different backgrounds. So there's the map of Rome. So again, two, but on the back of those, it's completely different. Postage and the ledger. I love the way it can give you options. We've got the tickets, and the tickets has got this beautiful rose border. I'm just trying to find the tickets a minute ago. So where we had the tickets before, No, I've got the wrong page. You know when you go, I'll get there eventually. Where's the tickets? I'm going to tell myself off in a minute and call myself Louise. There we go. So where we had the tickets before, that one's the Ditzy Florals, which I love. But then you've got the striped, like, wallpaper effect. Bookkeeping. Oh, I'm not a bookkeeping fan. So we've got those designs. Then these are those alphabet cards we had before. And it's got on the alphabet cards, that I love that. I think that just feels like a jelly print. You know, one that you've just kept on. Like the mop-up one, when we print with two different plates. And it just adds all the extras on. So that one had that ledger that I was talking about. But this one has got the alphabet. And then finally, we've got the strips. We've got the strips again. But on the strips this time, it's the Ditzy. Said that. So different backgrounds. And then we've got a plainer one. And again, the collage strips again. So they are the different papers. So each of the designs in each of the packs is completely different from each other. So they're like the 8x8. I'm just going to file these somewhere sensible. So the 12x12 are identical. I'm not going to open up all the 12x12, but I'll just show you. So the 12x12, just show you one or two that it's exactly the same concept in the 12x12s as it is the 8x8s. And let's, oh, she says, trying to pull them out. All right, let's keep you in the header card there. However, everything's a little bit bigger. So where we had the collage strips, everything is obviously upscaled. And as you can see, it's the same designs, just bigger. And it's the same concept. So you've got two of each design, but the backs are completely different. So it's exactly the same concept, whether you go 12x12 or 8x8. So two of the same designs, different on the reverse, and so on and so forth. Just wanted to show that they were, you know, they were upscaled exactly the same way. So again, you know, you can cut out different elements. There's the background from there. Postage stamps, the florals, and the tickets on there, whereas the florals was the alphabet. So we can do it that way. A plainer, and we've got the bingo card. But that bingo card is postcards, and that one's plain, just identical to the 8x8. We've got the collage strips just like the 8x8, and you get two of those, but these two are the only two that are identical either way round. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, it is worth having a look on Tim's live. Oh, right, I'm doing a Leone now. I'm wandering off. It is worth having a look on Tim's live because he explains why he did what he did, sort of thing. Join us for a special crafty hour. Bookkeeping. Oh, I don't do bookkeeping, Lillian. Well, I do, but reluctantly. So I thought, right, I really couldn't make up my mind what I wanted to do. So I went away, and originally I actually made an album. And I cut lots of bits and pieces out, all ready to go, so it would make a 7x7 album. And then I thought, oh, do you know what? I always make an album, or I do something like that. I thought I really wanted to do something a little bit different with the papers, but I wanted to give it a nod that I could still do collage. Julie, I like the orange. I really do like the orange. Like I said, sorry, I went off in a different tangent. So I wanted to make something a little bit different. So I went away and thought I wanted to mix the collage. So for example, this is the front. So I still wanted to have all the different collage elements. So these are the different strips you saw that I put on the front. I then used up the scraps that I actually had left over from this project. I brought some of the paper dolls in, some of the botanical layers that were in there. But I didn't want to make just a wallet. I think, you know, I wanted to do something. Yeah, I didn't know. So what I decided to do is I wanted to make a mixture of something that could be deemed as scrapbooky, so you could put photographs in, or it could be interactive, as in a bit of fun just to create something. But I could still do all the collaging I wanted to do. And I know that's a lot of waffle. I can't wait for this. I was trying to explain it to Mandy, what I was trying to do on the phone earlier today. You could really see Mandy's go like, yeah, okay, So what I've also done is I thought I prepped all the bits I wanted to do, because I'm going to send off what we make tonight and what all the other bits I've prepped ready to someone else to have a go at, and I'll send it off to Mandy so someone else can have a go at the idea and have all the different prep. Right, okay, so that's the front, and this is technically an A5 card. Now I could have punched 2 holes there and done ribbon, but I couldn't decide how I wanted to close it. So when you open it, it opens up and we create like a waterfall effect from side to side. So it can go down from side to side, but each of the different cards has something different in them. So this one has a tag which can sit there. This one has like a pocket, and I can put in another tag that I've made from the strips. This one has a belly band with a little journal card in. The side here opens and I've just done the butterfly. So I thought if you wanted to put a photograph, you still could, but the butterfly is there as interactive. Again, the other side, belly band, and, you know, so that sits there, another pocket, and I brought in the different small talk stickers. And I've only used, I think it was 2 or 3 sheets of the 12 by 12, and that was only me cutting out certain elements. And then the final one here, I've used one of the botanicals there as a corner, just made a tag that sits inside it, and then you have the bottom one there. But it was just so it could be a little bit interactive and something a little bit different. So you could do it as a card or a different way of doing a photo album. Teach us how to do that. So it's just something a little bit different. So I am going to teach you how to do that. Now, the concept of this has been around for ages. I just am dreadful for measuring. So I had the idea, and it was go away and think about how I could do it, that I only actually wanted to use A4 card. I didn't want to cut down too much. Everything had to be nice and easy. So as Mandy said, sort of thing, I am going to be doing as a giveaway, and I will send it to Mandy, all the bits you need to recreate this. Because if I don't get it all finished, I'll get most of it made, but I have then got all the bits ready to send someone as well for them to have a go at recreating it. Right, so let's make a start. Let's put you there. And I'm going to be using the red papers, and I've just got some out ready to use. So I have gone ahead and done quite a few bits because there's only so much licking and sticking you can watch me do in any one go. Even it bores me. Right, so I'm going to mainly use, where I can, A4 card, because I thought that was easiest for measurements wise. And so I'm just going to, like I said, A4. I'm using craft because I thought craft card went beautifully with the papers, and it didn't matter then what papers I actually used. So all I want to do is I want to create a little lip down this end, and I like to think of my measuring as simple as possible. Now, because I'm doing 12 by 12, I can't get the whole of my scoreboard in, but I will show you as we're doing things. So this, I'm going to score at 1/4 of an inch. And this is just to create a lip for me to have as a gluing area. And that will make sense once we've done all the scoring and we've cut them out. So I'm just going to do a 1/4 of an inch. And the main reason I'm doing 1/4 of an inch, it means then I have a straightforward 8 inches, which makes just dividing it in half so much easier. So I'm just going to go and score at 4 inches. And I'm then going to do an inch either side. So this will be 3. Now there's no, you can make these bits bigger or smaller. I've stuck to an inch because it's easy to remember. No other reason. You know, you could go with the measurements that, you know, work for you, as it were. So now, so that is the bulk of the scoring, and this actually will create our mechanism. So thanks, Glynis. Right, so this little bit here that I'm doing is I'm just folding it over and just doing the creases. So this is going to be, that tiny little bit there just gives me a gluing edge. And then I'm just going to, the first score is going to be a mountain. I'm just going to score that way. Sorry, I will, whilst I'm, okay. Lillian, I believe every week is on. So we've got that there. So the next score is going to be a valley fold. So I have to move this around. Sorry, keep moving. So this is going to be a valley. And then the final score is going to be a mountain. So when everything is all tucked together and that little glue lit, everything will fold on top of each other. So let's do this one as the mountain. Okay. Now this is horses for courses, the next bit. And it really does depend on your guillotine, chopper, whatever way you like to use it. Because what I then did was, to make it easier for myself, I'm going to cut these as inch strips. Now, my guillotine will allow me to put the glue it all and chop it. But I'm just going to pretend it won't at the moment. So I'm just going to close this down, if you bear with me. Okay. Put you up there and grab you. So once we've got this bit here, I went just for nice, easy measurements again, and I'm just going to cut them into inch strips. Now, it means I will have a little bit left over, but that doesn't matter. We don't need to use it. So all I'm doing to make this more manageable is I'm just going, because I'm going to cut them an inch, I'm just going to line this up to the 6 inches and start cutting. So let's put you to one side. Now, for the mechanism I've made, I've made 9 strips. You can make as many as you want. It depends on how much you want those little cards to be overlapping each other. So you can do more, you can do less. So we're down to 3, 2. Right, let's move you guys out the way. And then we've got 1, line you up. Sorry, I prefer a guillotine. I just like the noise a guillotine makes. So I'm just lining up. So I've got 6 there. And then I'm just going to do exactly the same this side. But I know I've got a little bit overhang, so I'm just going to the 5 first. I just find it easier. And any of the extra bits that I don't use, I will put in the giveaway envelope so you can see or use these straight away. 3. Okay. Okay, 2. I'm going quiet as I sort of concentrate-ish. Right, so that's that done. Let's put you there. So these are the bits that are going to create our actual mechanism. Okay. Right, so now all we're going to do is just starting sticking these together. I'm just going to put my pins somewhere safe because I keep losing them. And what I want to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on each I'll bring it up so you can see a little bit more on each of the edges, and this is going to stick down onto there, and I'm just going to push those two in and line everything up. So I've now got everything so it all lines up and it creates this shape. So it's that little tab that gets stuck there, and then I've got that shape there, and I'm going to do that with all of the others. Now I won't do all of them because I have glued some ahead of time, so you didn't have to watch me glue absolutely everything. So again, I'm just going to line it up and put them together. Just there we go. So I've got another one that looks like the little arrows. So I'll do one more. And like I said, I've got a box full there that I can add, make them as long, mechanism as long as I want. But then who I send everything to has got enough of these made, or so can see how they're made, and we'll line them up. There we go. So I know that I need, for the pattern I want 9. So I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and as I said, I've got some other bits and pieces all here that I can send out, so you could be able to make at least two, or make some bigger or smaller. So let's just put you guys there, put you in the bin. I don't need you. So I have to tidy up as I go along. So now all of these are going to create the mechanism. Move you there. And they are going to create where you can see the actual part here. We're going to glue them together so they create that actual mechanism. So everything will then move. Here's the one I prepped earlier. Lou has the badge. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just that I know sometimes, I know that watching paint dry is one thing, but watching someone glue 100 things, even I know that I would get bored watching that. So then the only thing we need to remember when we're doing that, is doing the next part, is I'm going to measure this halfway. Now I can bring in my scoreboard, or I can do it by eye. So it's, again, you've just got to remember that it doesn't matter which way round you work. If you're working with the point, the points all go together, or if you're working where there is the fold bit here, they all go together. So I am going to grab my scoreboard, only because it just makes lining up a little bit easier. So if I bring that here, so all I'm doing is I'm lining up. And now you could make a pencil mark. I did get a pencil out, so I know 1/2 inch is I need 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. So what it means is I am just going to put glue down one edge, and this edge is actually going to be free. So it's completely up to you whether you draw a line and make a mark. Go with what, you know, works for you as such. Oh, thank you, Alison. Right, you might get a bit bored after I've glued 9 of these together. So I'm just using the scoreboard for that now, and all that means is I am just going to put glue onto 1/2. And I'm going to, so I know that the arrow bit is going towards the bottom, so I'm going to make sure that goes towards the bottom, and then all I'm going to do is put the next one directly on top and just hold them in place for a little bit for the glue to go. So they're now sticking on top of each other, and I can do the same again. I know it's going to be 1/2 inch, which means this side is where I'm going to put the glue. So the glue will always go the same side on each piece, and it'll only be 1/2. I'll just zoom in a little bit so you can see what I mean. I don't always like zooming in. Unlike Leonie, I don't have fancy gadgetry. It's called my fingers do the zooming, and that sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. Hi, Eva. Right. Oh gosh, I did zoom in. Okay. Right. So as I said, so now I've just marked the 1/2 inch, because I know this is an inch, I'm going for halfway. And again, I'm just going to take the glue. You could draw a pencil line down, and I'm just going to put glue onto the one side. So again, it's the same side as I did before. I'm just checking that this is the right way around. So I've got the arrow bits going to the bottom, and I'm going to line that up there and just hold it in place. Now you can use clips as you put more and more on. So I'm just going to move this on here a bit. And again, so it's just basically doing the same till you've got all the pieces on. And again, as you can see, it's still the same side of the strip that I am gluing down. Just reading it. I may have to ask Mandy to put a slip in every order. So Timmy, yeah, they are. Are you fussy cutting new goodies? Oh, Alison, I've been fussy cutting away merrily, I must admit as well. And done a couple of videos. I just got to edit them. So again, it's halfway down. I've made sure that the points are there, and it's carrying on now until we've got all the pieces in place. Now it gets to a stage that you don't need to do pencil marks all the time. You get the rhythm of it. If you find it easier, you could mark each one and then, you know, put you know, where the glue is going to go. Alternatively, you could put an arrow at the, so you make sure all the bits are sticking the same way. If you stick the wrong bits together, you know, just peel one off and start again, or just cut another piece. So we're just going to stick all of these down. As I said, this is not probably the most interesting part. Oh, Sylvia, I am intrigued now. Ooh. Ooh, I really am intrigued, Sylvia. Right, so I'm just going to move this along so I can fit all the other bits there. And I know that's 1/2 inch. It's just giving myself a visual cue. So this is about as complicated as making the mechanism goes. And we're going to keep going from there. Right, there we go. And I'll count up how many I've got in a moment. So you don't have to do 9, you could do 11, you could do 7, you know, it doesn't really matter, but it is, the reason I've gone for an odd number is I wanted the central panel. Julie, it's once you get into the rhythm of it, Julie, it's not complicated at all. All I'm doing is gluing one, essentially just gluing one on top of the other. That is all I'm doing. And it looks like it's more complicated than it is. I don't do complicated measurements at all. The simpler, the better. If I've got to sit there, oh no, and work it all out, I would just have given up, and I would have just not bothered at all. Right, so that means now I've got all of them stuck on top of each other, as you can see. So they're literally all stuck on top of each other, which means now they open up. So all I'm going to do is open them up just to make sure the glue isn't sticking down where it's not wanted to stick down. So that now creates the actual mechanism that goes around. And it doesn't matter if I did it this way, it would still work as well. So we're just going to play with that. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom out a bit. Let's put you back there. There we go. Right, so as I said, so this makes a mechanism. So in this card here, I have done, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this has got 9 in it, definitely. And the reason I did the odd number was I wanted 2 cards in the centre. I wanted the 2 cards in the centre, so it looked like it opened up. And that's the reason I chose the odd number. Oh, Julie, I don't do lots of measuring. Well, I do lots of measuring, if that makes sense, but it's got to make sense to me as well. Otherwise, it's... No. Oh, I love a bit of fussy cutting, Arwen. Oh, I find it quite therapeutic. Now, Glynis, I have gone ahead and prepped my cards, as you can see. So what I did for the cards and how I worked out how I wanted it to be was, again, I only wanted to use an A4 piece of card. So if I move these out of the way. So when this is closed, if I'm just going to grab a scrap piece just for now. So if this is an A5, I needed it so I could actually make the cards work. So when I decided how big these cards were going to be, I wanted it so I could still keep and see a card, but I wasn't going to use any more than my A4 piece of card. So I'm going to say it was the first time that I did it that I realised, sort of thing, that very quickly. So these little cards that I've cut here are all 9 centimetres, or 7 centimetres by 9 centimetres. And that meant... it worked straight away for me, and it was literally the first one I cut and it worked, so that was a bit of luck. And it was also, I could stick within the folding a piece of A4 in half to create all the different elements. So I have gone ahead and cut mine out just to get it ready, and I'm going to work from back to front. And all I next do is we're going to decorate. Now, I found it easier to decorate. The first time I made it, I went straight to the middle and went to decorate, and then it became a real faff trying to glue everything in place. So I'm going to start from the back. So I've cut my cards out, and these are from the different strips, and all I've done is just cut the strips down and rounded the corners with a corner rounder to fit onto the card. And because these are going at the back, I didn't want to decorate the back, but everything else I have decorated the back. You don't have to decorate the back, obviously. You could ink all the edges, you know, you could do all of those. I didn't want to decorate on the back, on the ones that are just going to sit and you're not going to see the back of them. I didn't see the point, but the others I have. Right, so I'm just going to put that there, and just line it up. Like I said, you could get your inks out and line up, and that's there. So what we're going to do to stick the cards in is, for the side that is on your right. Now, sorry, I can teach right and left, I just do not know right and left. And actually, just there is an R, just there on my wall is a L for left. So anything this side, so start again, Louise. So if I find the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the middle. If I put a paper clip in the middle. So from the middle, anything this side is on my right. So she's looking at the wall to check. Anything on this side is my left. So that makes where I'm going to stick these actual cards. Yeah, you can do more or less. It really does. Do as many as you want. It depends on how much movement you want. So that means anything this side, it means I'm going to, where I've got this arrow, it means I'm going to stick the cards onto the right hand point of the arrow. So this bit here. So I'm just going to stick it there. Now you can be precise. I'm doing it by eye of what I call the middle, and how I work it out is by turning it over back to front and just going, yeah, that looks like it's in the middle. You can be more precise. So this one is going to go there. So that means from the middle, anything this side is going to go towards the right. So when I do the next one, which I've got obviously prepped up, which will stick together, I have got pieces to decorate the front and back. So this one is going to go on the back, because I thought if it's going to be flipping and you can see both sides, I didn't want it just to be a whole load of craft card. Now, I did try and make this mechanism with the actual papers, and yes, it does work. Because I thought that would be nice as well. It's not quite as strong as if you were using card. So I've got that. That's my reverse. And then I wanted to create something with here. So I thought I would create a pocket. And I can stick this on here. The strips, the craft cards, they're from the craft card, my craft card. The decorative strips of paper you can see are from the paper packs. Like that is from the paper pack. So I'm just going to create a pocket there. So all it is I've taken one of those toppers and I've been a little bit tight and just cut it in half on to create a pocket. So let's move you out of the way. So that's going to create my pocket. And then this piece is from the same piece, and I can stick it down so it looks like a continued piece, but I'm not covering up half a piece of paper. You get enough paper that you could easily cover half a piece, but I'm just being a little bit frugal. Right, so I'm going to slide that there. So that now has created my pocket. And then my card can sit inside. Now I'm just going to put that card to one side because I really do need these bits here. And then because this is on the right hand side, it means I need to use the right hand side to stick this down. Let's push that up so you can see. But I've got both sides decorated so it flips over. And again, it's going to be a by eye. So I'm just going to stick it down. She says, there we go. Let's stick you down so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm just lining it up. So for the next one, I'm lining it up so what I consider to be a gap. I suppose it's ½ an inch, maybe a bit more, a bit less. So that's going to stick there. So now I need to let the glue go. So as you can see, it's starting, it will go move over once they've all stuck in place. And then we'll do the third one. As I said, I got a bit carried away. And again, I've done it so I've got to cut out a piece of paper. So it's just a mat and layer. Do your mat and layer. You don't have to do a mat and layer, but do your mat and layers how you would do them. So there we go. So that's going to be on the reverse. You could decorate up the backs a little bit more. We've got that there. Margaret, Alison, yeah, you've got to be frugal, yeah. I just get, I think you're right, Glynis. I just get used to calling it craft card. It's a brown card that's not actual brown in colour, whatever. I don't know how craft card is made. Right, so this one here is one of those strips from the 12 by 12 because I've used the 12 by 12s. and I've just cut the strips up in to make different toppers. And then what I've done is I've created a belly band, and that was just a tiny little bit left over from cutting my background, and I thought I'm not going to let it go to waste. We'll turn it into a belly band. There we go. I'm just going to stick that down the middle. As I said, you could be inking all these pieces. I just thought it would, on a live, it would just take too long if I sat here and inked everything. I know I've prepped, but so we've got that there. That's now going to sit in the center, and that's going to create my belly band. I'm just going to hold it for the moment. I won't be. I mean, the strips, these part here for the mechanism can be as big as you want them to be, i.e. if you did this on an A3, they'd be even bigger. The cards would be even bigger. It's just that I was trying to make it as easy as possible from A4, that I didn't have to upscale or downscale. So again, that's the center. So I'm now going to stick this on the right hand, this side here. I turn the light away because it was glaring. I'll just turn it back round a bit more because of the craft card. So I'm just going to stick it onto this part here. And I'm, again, going to line mine up for what I consider to be the center. You can make marks. But as you can see, I'm creating a little bit of a pattern here, that there's a similar sort of a gap. When I make anything that's like quite interactive, it doesn't bother me if it's 100% precise, because I think once it's moving, people don't notice. Well, that's just my excuse. Could be. So now, as you can see, so we've got the 3 going. We need to let the glue, so as it moves from one side to the other, they would go from there. And obviously the card we will decorate up in the moment. So that becomes like a belly band. This card here is going to sit inside the pocket. And I'm conscious that the glue is still wet and I need to let it go, but I'm determined to put that card in there. It's going to go in there. Right, so I need to let that sit on there, and I'm just going to hold it this side as well, just to make sure the glue is really sticking down in place. Okay, so, and then I've got this point here, and for this one I've created a tag, but again I'm just going to decorate the back. And you don't have to decorate the backs. I've just decorated the backs because even though you only see a little bit of it as it flips from one side to the other, I just thought it'd be nice to have a bit of decoration rather than just seeing the back of the card. You know, the choice is yours. Night, Louisa. Okay, so that's the back there, and then I've got this part here, and I will bring in some of the other parts for that tag, but I'll get that ready. And the reason these ones are smaller for the cards is the actual strips are either 6 or 6.5 wide, so I just went with those and cut them down rather than trying to go into the next strip. Right, so that's going to be there. And then I have a tag punch. Oh, where is it? And all I've done is punched out a piece of card and then a piece of paper to stick on top. And just stick that on top. And I was going to, I might even put an eyelet. Wow. I've got my crocodile out because I thought, oh, I might put some eyelets. So I'm just going to line those up. I want this to be a little bit stronger than just the paper. Now, the paper is 200 GSM, I should say. And the only reason I know was I did message Beth directly at Advantus and say, it doesn't say on the packaging how much the card or paper weighs. It feels a little bit heavier than that though. Right, so this is going to be a tag, and we're going to make a pop. What I'm going to do is grab something like, let's find it. Let's find something. So I can grab something like from the botanical layers, glue it down, and then my tag can sit in there. But I'll do that after I've stuck everything down in place. And again, because it's this side, I'm just going to stick it on, put the glue onto the part that's deemed as the right. And again, I'm just going to eyeball where I think it should go. There we go. And just hold it down just for a moment. That is a bit of a brute of a punch. The reason I like the punch, and I got the punch ages ago, was for school, because for some of the children who had dexterity issues, they could put both hands on it and it punched really, really easy. But it also punches the hole, and there you can put the eyelets. So they could sit there, punch it out, put the hole in, and then put an eyelet in. And it was really easy. It's not really heavy to use the mechanism. And that was what intrigued me for it. And then obviously when I finished, I kept it because it's mine, as it were. Right, so we've got that there. So now that means this side is near enough done. So we're going to start on this side now, which means I'm going to put the glue on the opposite. So this is going to be my center panel, so I'm going to do that last. So I'm just going to put that there. So this is the bottom here, and from these strips there are so many different. It's only when you start looking at the strips and cutting the strips up into like little panels like this, you realize how many combinations there or different ways there are to actually cut the strips down. No, Julie, you wouldn't. It is quite a heavy punch. It's a Fiskars one from years and years ago. I had loads of punch. I've still got loads of punches. It was just punches became heavy to carry around. But mind you, saying that, carrying around half a dozen dies can be heavy as well. And then the die cutting machine. So as I know I'm going this side, I'm going to put the glue onto this side, the left hand side. And it's going, and as I said, I am just eyeballing where I think it's going to be halfway. And I will just turn it over and have a quick look to see that I'm happy with it. Ish. As I said, you can measure it to be a bit more precise. I think ish is a good measurement sometimes. So we've got that there. So now we're just doing it the opposite way, and that's what creates the movement. And you can then see both sides. Lillian, it's, oh, I couldn't tell you how old it is. You know, how had it a long while. Right, so I'm turning this one into a pocket again and again. So for this one, I am going to decorate the back. And so there we go. I'm just going to decorate. And this then is going to be another pocket. Vanessa, I'd love to say I'm 8 stone-ish, but I think I'm a little bit, the ish needs to be an ish and an ish and an ish and an ish and an ish. And maybe another ish on top of it. Right, so I've got that there. So this is going to be the start of a pocket. And I'm going to put this here. Oh, the little postage edge stamps. Yeah. I used to have a punch, and I can't find it for love nor money, that was, did like postage stamps. And I cannot find it. So I've probably given it away or left it at school. Very ishy. Right. Okay. So I'm sorry about all the gluing. This is why I did a little bit of prepping in advance, because I know there is quite a bit of gluing, and I know not always the most interesting thing to watch. Right, let's put, you're going to go in there. There we go. So I said, these are those horizontal, vertical strips. And I've just cut them down. So I've got that there, and then that would become another pocket. That will stick you on in a minute once I've stuck down. So again, because I'm working the opposite side, I'm going to do this part here with some glue. And so I'm going to have to turn it towards me so I can line it up. And then I'll turn it back round. That will do. And I'll just hold it in place for the moment. So if I don't get this finished, I will send this as well. Okay. Go. So I'll put you there, and then that will be your pocket. And so this is another one. I'll just decorate the back. I saw a lot of punches have seemed to have made a resurgence recently. Gosh, I remember having all the Martha Stewart decorative ones. Do you remember the Martha Stewart ones that like punch all over the page? It didn't matter where you put it on the page. The magnets on those were like, whew. Because obviously you could stick it anywhere on a page and just punch it. My goodness, the magnets on those were like, oh, Christine, I hope you do have a go. That'd be lovely. A corner round. No, I've got a whole basket of punches sitting underneath my table. Different ones. I used to like the border punches because some of them were great for school because of their lacy nature. So when we were doing things like history, like the Victorians, we could create lace effect card, or and the children used to just love sitting there punching them all out. Okay, so I've got that part there, and again, like I said, these are all the little strips from cutting off to create. So make a belly band. Now, you could do them plain. You don't have to decorate as much as I'm doing. You know, you could just do plain cards and that's it. Okay, let's put you there. I'm just going to hold this in place while this goes. I used to remember the Martha Stewart ones. I used to love the loopy one that she did, that went, and then when she brought it so it went around the corners. Yeah, Di, the ones that lined up at the corners. Oh, and it still went round. I know we all talk about how much we probably paid for dies when they first came out. I mean, how much I must have paid for punches. It's eye-watering. I'm just thinking about it. It's eye-watering to think about. Right, I'm just going to turn this towards me because I just find it easier so I can line it up. There we go. And then to push that in and hold it down. So it does come together quite quickly. I'm obviously adding more layers to mine because I want to. Sorry if my head got in the way. Julie, that's the sort of thing I would have done. Lost it, couldn't find it. I was having a conversation with someone today. No, was it today or yesterday? Mandy Taylor, and she was saying I can't find, you know, something, and we were saying then we go and order it because we can't find it. Only then to find it after the one we reordered suddenly materialised. Right, let's put you guys in there now as you settle down just a little bit more. Glue wise, probably should let the glue dry a little bit more. That one needs to dry a bit more because I'm pulling at it. Right, okay, so now I've mirrored the sides So what I've done on one side, I've done on the other. And that's not for any other reason than it was just easier for me to prep. It meant I could do two at once. And I knew this was going to be quite a longish project. Oh, love construction. I love construction too. I don't always get the chance to do as much as I would like. Right, put that there. So again, I'm just going to decorate the back. And we'll stick that down there. And there we go. Now, as I keep saying, you don't have to decorate the back. It's just the fussy person in me just likes to decorate the back. Right, okay. And that's going to go on there. And I said I haven't used that many papers at all, because I think you get, I think it's like on a sheet 5 or 6 of these strips. There must be 5 if they're roughly 6 centimeters. So by the time you cut them up, I mean, you get loads just from that. You don't really need to use the other papers. So that's going to be a punch over there. And again, as I said, because it's going this way, I'm going to use this side. And I'm just going to turn it towards me so I can just line it up. I'm being lazy because if I stood up, I could probably see what I'm doing, but I'm sitting down. So there we go. So that's going to be that tag there, and I know that one's going there. Okay. So now I've got all the different bits here, and now this means I've just got the center parts. So I'm just going to put the center here, and I thought I'm going to do pockets for the center this time, but I can still put a butterfly in. I just wanted to give people different alternative ways of doing it. So this is treating it a bit like a scrapbook album or junk journal. Sorry, I've gone a little bit out of camera because I'm pulling everything towards me. Okay, that's going to be the back. Let's move you out of the way. And then I'm going to create another pocket. So I could do a plain. I like the fact actually there's some plain. It's not plain as in, when you get them, you'll see what I mean. It's got like a mottled effect, some of the plains, or it's got layers in it. But I do like that you have the choice. You don't always, you can mix up busy with plain. All right, I'm not gonna stick this one down first because I keep forgetting to do this one first, and then I'm not arguing with the pocket. So let's just stick you down. There we go. And then we'll create a pocket. I prefer using wet glue. I haven't got the patience for double-sided glue. I do use red liner and double-sided. It's just, I then have a massive falling out with it when I've got trying to get the backs off. Right, so I'm just going to do this here. Oh, good, Karina. It's one of those... I think we should make a case for you to do more demos. Oh, Christine, thank you. Okay, so that's going to be the pocket. So now I know this is going to go this side. So let's move the paper clip. So I'm just going to put glue for this side here. And because I know it's going on this side, I'm going to line it up with the ones I've already done just for the moment. And I'm just going to hold it in place because I do need this to be stuck before I do the other side. So as you can see, I've decorated the backs on here. this one is going to be stuck to the back, so I don't need to worry about it being decorated. But in my head, I just thought when they were flipping over, it was nicer just to see the backs being decorated rather than just the plain card, but you don't have to. Right, okay. So we've got that one in the center, and it just moved a smidge because I was playing with it, but that doesn't matter. Let's push you back there. That's fine. Okay. And then I've done a pocket for the other side as well. And said, to make life easier for the demo, I kept everything the opposite side way round, just rather than thinking of 10 or 11 different ideas. So a little bit lazy, but also I wanted to get as much prepped as I could because I came back from Brighton. And I didn't see Mandy when I was in Brighton because I was at my dad's. Hi, Norma. Right, so let's put you there. And I love that image of that girl. She just looks so serene and peaceful. Right, okay. I'm just going to stick the top down. We were doing a junk journal with the Ciao Bella, the last mystery, at a workshop on Wednesday. Oh, Ciao Bella junk journals are lovely. They are really nice. I haven't had a chance to create with the new ones at the moment, only because went to Frankfurt, and then there was lots of other things, exciting things happening that I then got distracted by. Right, so we've got that there. Let's create the pocket here. Okay. And just put that down as the pocket. And because this is the center, it means I'm going to put glue on this part here. One of the downsides of Facebook, YouTube does keep up with you quite well. Facebook doesn't, you know, when it's lagging. Sorry, I'm just going to have to line them up facing towards me. So I've deliberately done these. So the pocket sizes for these are not the same size. And the reason for it is I've taken the actual imagery and decided where I was going to cut it to create the different pocket sizes. So let's stick you down. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close absolutely everything for the moment and let it stick down in place and do a little bit of a tidy up, and then we're going to do the next part. So as you can see, where we did all that sticking down of the mechanism, and it's literally on top of each other, I like the fact that it looks quite neat. Now you could, I mean, if you've got strips left, I don't know if I've got strips left, have I? Let's have a look. Oh, we look. So, you know, where I've got these silly little strips, I get rid of these. I mean, if it really bugged you, you could start decorating up there, but I just thought life was too short to sit there and cut out loads of 1/2-inch strips to cover to make sure all of it was decorated. But as I said, I did try it the first time with the mechanism, with the papers, and it did work. But I just felt the card was a touch stronger. Right, I'm just going to put these paper clips away. Right, let's catch up while I'm doing that. Exciting things happening next Saturday. What's that, Alison? Who fancies a challenge? Oh, Sylvia, what are you challenging us to? You know, when someone says, do you fancy challenging? You want to go, yeah. And I'm a bit like Julie. What's the timescales? Right, I'm just letting that sit for a few minutes. I'm just going to take a quick slurp of coffee while we get that done. Can't believe how tidy it is. Now, Steve would disagree with you wholeheartedly and say, I'm not tidy at all. But I get to the stage where it does my noodling and I have to tidy up. I have to. Right, okay. So now when we do it, the mechanism is going to go over, as you can see, and it's going to create that false waterfall effect. So when it opens up, it can go back and forth. And that is just as quickly as you do. And I know I said I have prepped, you know, a lot of it, but that was just because I've cut all the layers out. You don't need to create all the different pockets and all the different layers as I have done. You could just stick it with papers, it'd be photographs, whatever, and I will start putting we will start decorating those up. So I'm just going to put that like that to one side and grab a piece of A4. And literally the card base was me taking the A4 and folding it in half. I couldn't, because it's like 29.7 or whatever. Oh, I'm just going to fold it in half. That was about as near as the measuring I got for this. Now, it would work completely, if I cut these two separately, it would work completely differently because you'd be lifting one side up to another side. But I just wanted to keep everything encased in one area. Oh, thanks, Vanessa. So we've got there, and this is where then it's now your choice of the backgrounds that you wanted to add. So I actually liked, I did have some bits cut out. So I actually thought this is where these sort of sheets, so I'm using the 12 by 12, these sort of sheets were absolutely perfect because I love, these are the strips, but I actually thought them layered together, you know, it looks brilliant, and it looks like you've done so much collaging and you haven't. It is quite easy. Oh, what Sylvia challenged. I missed that. All the bits in a clip. Oh, what Sylvia challenged. I'm trying to look. Oh, create what Lou is doing. Okay. So I'm going to see that what she's challenged. The challenge is to create what Lou is doing. End of March deadline. Okay. You don't have to use the palette papers. You can use any papers you've got. But yeah, I love that idea. And I am more than happy, and I'll liaise with Mandy about it. Obviously, one of the perks of working for a craft company is I do have quite a few crafty bits. So I'm making a mark where I want to trim this down. So I am happy, Sylvia. Lou, do you have an evening or odd number of the folded bits? An evening. Are you the folded? These bits here, Glynis, if you're talking about these bits, I do them so they're odd. And the reason I do it odd is I can go that the one in the middle, I can then put a double strip in. So it's 9. So technically I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And the only reason there's 5 here is so I can do the middle can actually be double. So the strips I do 9 of, or you could do 11, 7, 5. But yes, I do them as an odd number. But yeah, so I am more than happy, Sylvia, if you want to do the challenge, to offer a prize, a random prize for anyone who joins in the challenge. Right, so I've got that there, but because the strips go the other way, I could have one side, and I could do the opposite, the other side. I'm not going to. I'm just going to stick both to being the same way. I just need to trim them down. Okay, and I'll do a mark there. Glynis, what I'll try and do is I will try and write some of the suggestions, some of the instructions about how I did things, or I'll try and look at the video and get Leonie to send me and try and do it from there. I know, Glynis, I got what you meant. It's only when I read the whole of it I knew you were talking about odd and even. If you want the centre like I have done, you know, where you've got the two, I do odd. If you just want to have, for example, 5 going one way, 5 going the other, and you're not worried, then it doesn't really matter, sort of thing. But I just wanted the 2 in the middle, because I just thought that was nice. And also, at the time, I had committed to using the butterfly. Right, all I am going to do is, because the mechanism is going to stick to this paper, I'm just going to make sure my glue is going edge to edge. There we go. Now, you could use gel medium and a spatula and spread it out, or a brush, just to make sure the glue is going all over. Yes, it's a foldy thing. I love that description, Nikki. Is there a name for, oh, do you know, I think I quite like foldy thing. I think it's a version of like a waterfall. You know, like how the traditional waterfalls, you know, when you pull the mechanism and it'd go up that way. I think it's like a version of that. It has been around for ages, but I don't know what it's called. I just tweaked it so I didn't have to measure, i.e. I could just stick to using A4 card and work it from there. So by the time I'd cut all these cards out, I was not left with too much waste. Right, so we've got that there. So that now is the front, the inside of my card. And I'm going to decorate the front because I really do want the glue to be a little bit more tacky before we start sticking everything in place. So for the front, so what all I've done is I've just, the different strips, as you can see, I've got bits left over. And different strips left over. And I just want to decorate the front, and I'm going to do it. Oh, let me think. Do I want to cut it that way? No, I'm going to cut it that way. Why not? And we'll cut it down. I'm just working in my head how I want to do this. So we've got that there. I'm loving all the names. A sideways waterfall. Yeah, it is a traverse waterfall. Oh, that sounds very posh. Oh, a traverse waterfall. Stairway. Oh, you're all coming out with some really good names. There's me being quite happy with, you know, the thingy, foldy thingy. I was quite excited about that name. But some of them really good. Traverse. A gravity-defying waterfall. I wondered where you were going there, Lillian. And as I started reading it, I didn't know whether it was one of those comments I should have read first before talking it out loud. Now, you could do this if you didn't want to do it in a card. If you had, you know, made yourself a box, one could sit in the box, and as you lifted the lid of the box, it could go over. So, you know, there's lots of different ways you can change it to suit your actual style. And then what I thought is I can stick this second part down here. I don't mind about the gap there because we can fill it with something, she says. Go. So there's very little waste then. It's a mesmerizer. Oh, Karina, I can't read all your comments. I'd have to glue and I'll see. Let's have a look. go. Got that there. It's one of the benefits, I think, of collage. I'll move my card up in a minute. What I'll try and do, Karina, to make it easier is I'll try and take pictures of where the glue would go on one side or the other, and I'll try and get onto them. I can't promise that it'll be, but I'll work on it so I can try and get some form of instruction. So this is going to be the front. I've got some of these strips left. Did I want plain? See, this is where I can sit and play. This is, you know, where you go, stop, Liz, stop. Quite like the ledger. I've got bits there. So let's use what I've got here for the moment. I'm going to go for, let's go for there. And let's grab some white card for now. As if we'd say anything dodgy. You know when you go, as if you'd say anything dodgy. Right, oh, I might need to get a bigger piece of card. No, we'll cut this down. Okay, and all I'm doing is I'm just going to build up some of the bits onto some card, and we'll bring in some other elements. Would help if I knew what that was actually in, wouldn't I? 15 to roughly 9, so 6. Okay, I'm just going to, I want to quite, that'll do. And I'm just going to stick some of these together. And we'll start building up. So these are all the bits I had left over from making. So I had loads left over. And there we go. So I'm just going to grab that there. And I did have some 3D foam, although I probably would use gel medium, but for speed I'm going to use 3D foam. Talking about next Saturday, Mandy, when are we allowed to talk about next Saturday? Or is Leonie going to let the cat out the bag for us in the week? Okay, let's put you there. Sunday, oh. Thanks for joining us, Carol. Oh, once I would definitely say give it a go. Try it in with paper first, so you get an idea. Right, okay, I'm just going to bring over, whoops, a few of the botanical layers. As you can see, I do rather like the botanical layers, and start decorating the front. Now, I'm dreadful. I will cut them in half because, and I know you get so many, so you don't really need to cut them in half, but I do. I want a few corner pieces. So let's have a look through. I mean, like I said, you get so many that I don't really need to be cutting them in half. I just do. So let's go. I'm just going to grab a few out. Okay. And I just keep mine in. This is in the peel-off box. I originally got the peel-off box because it fits all the mini oxides in. And then I had to do something for TV, and I thought, oh, I need something to put everything in. So I just changed it. Right, let's grab that. Let's grab a butterfly. I probably don't need half the stuff I'm getting out, but I'm going to get it out because if I don't, I'll then change my mind. Let's grab you. Let's grab you. Okay, let's do that like that. Wouldn't have... Let the secret out. Ooh. I think we can let our I'm sharing a sneaky peek tomorrow, Lou. Oh. Yeah, Lillian, I did see your name on the comment, but not too much. Oh, we won't tell. We won't tell. Oh, that's. Do you know how much can you let out without giving anybody too much? Okay. Right. Okay. This is going to be really, 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 really quick. There we go. That's it done. That was a really, really quick, wasn't it? Right, let's put you guys here. And right, so all I'm going to do now is I just want to build up one or two of the designs around. So there. Okay, I will show that I will go a little bit slower with my sneak peek. It was different, blinking you missed. I will go a little bit slower in a moment. Hold on. As Leonie's not here and she's probably not tuned in, she won't notice what we're doing or talking about until she goes to look at the video tomorrow. You know, like what do they say? While the cat's away, the mice will play. Right, so I'm just layering up some of the ephemera pieces that we've got to create a little bit of a background. And I'll glue some of these in place. Sorry, I just had a little mini panic about where I put the pin for my glue. So let's put that there. Okay. Hi, Angela. 2 new stamps and a stencil. Yes, they are. All right, okay. Okay, I'll do another. That's one sneak peek and that's another. I won't show any more. So that was a bit slower. Okay. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Right, okay, so I'm just going to build that up there. I don't mind the white borders die. I quite like the white borders because I just think it saves me inking. So I do actually quite like the white borders, and I cut with the white borders out. And I cut with the white borders out. I think it's because I find it quicker to cut with the white borders out. So I've got used to seeing all the white borders. Right, so. Or Glyn has unfortunately been too far away for me to go there, especially coming from. So we're just going to build up a few designs. So I want to grab a little person. And where have I filed you? Okay, some thingy. Were you at the workshop, Glynis? So let's grab a paper doll. You know, every time I go on the M6, it's always an utter nightmare for me. Right, do you know, this is where I can also spend loads of time just thinking of what I'm going to put on here. Do you know, I love these ones here. It just reminds me when we all had to go through our communion and confirmation. And little white ankle socks with little bits of lace on. All right, let's have a think. Sorry, I'm just having a look to see what I would like. I do quite like that scary woman. I mean, obviously she doesn't think she's scary. Let's do a couple of those. I think that's the reason I do it, Sylvia. I just found it quicker to cut them out rather than with the white borders. It was just easier that way. Right, I'm just going to start building up from here. Oh, you didn't this time. I'd love to go up. I'd love to do. I'm very intrigued by what Erica was doing with the leaves. That did really intrigue me. Okay, so I'm just going to put her there, but she's floating, so I will get her something to stand on. And I'm just going to look at the different strips I've got here. And cut one out. And just going to stick it down. Okay. So many workshops I'd like to go and do. And I wanted to do one of Janie's, from Janie's Originals. And I thought, right, that's it for this year. I'm going to do it. And my youngest son lived just outside Bristol, and I thought, great, I can go and stay with him. And then they move. I mean, how inconsiderate, how rude. And now they live about 15 minutes from me. So it's like, oh, could you have not waited until I did the workshop first? Right, okay, so I'm just doing it so it looks like she is standing on that dotted line. And then we can add a few more bits of imagery in. And I'm going to cut this down. And then I can put that there. I'm in, kids do that deliberately, yeah. I must admit, I'm in Inverness the first week of March for a workshop. So I'm just going to put that bit there. And then I could even have a second image, but I think if I was going to do the second image, I would actually put her in front. She looks like she's been caught and told off. You know, when children can do, not so much the who me, but they know they've done wrong, but they can put on this really sad, I am guilty, but you're not really going to tell me off, are you? I've said I'm guilty. And then you melt sort of face. Right, okay. Right, I'm starting to faff a little bit more, and I'm conscious of the time that I've kept you guys here already for 1 hour and 40 minutes. And Mandy. Oh. Right, okay, sorry, I didn't realise the card was further down. Right, so I would carry on building, but I'm going to stop because the person who gets this, I will put in a lot of other little bits and pieces for you, so you can actually finish even decorating the front and even choosing. So we've got this now. So it's now sticking all the mechanism in. And all we're going to do is line it up so it's near the crease. And I'm just going to put some glue on the bottom one here. There we go. And I'm just holding it in place because I need it to stick there, and then I'm going to then put some glue on the top one here. And we're going to close that down. And what I'm just doing is just checking it's closed. And as you can see, it's moving, but I just need to make sure they're in place. I don't want to move it too much until they're glued in place. So I am going to grab a clip for now, and just for a couple of minutes, just let that sit and settle. So what I'm going to send to Mandy tomorrow, let's move you out of the way, will be this for everybody to finish off, and I will put in some of the other strips that I have used and papers, some of the what are they called? I can't remember. Some of these are botanical layers, because I use these to create the pockets for the different tags. I'll put in, obviously, where I've taken out, we'll put them in the different tags and the pocket pieces from there. So I'll get all of those little bits and pieces together. And what I have done as well is I will put in pieces that you need that aren't glued up, so you can see how they work. And I'll put in a glued one as well, so you can see how I've glued them together. So I've got all of those. But what I did do as well, just in case you want to have a go by yourselves as well, whoa, I have cut out all the card sizes. I haven't rounded them because that's personal preference. So there's all the card sizes you need to do all your base layers on. And I've also then scored one of these ready, so you can see on an A4 card. So you could use this as a template and write the different measurements, you know, different score lines and everything to go like that. So I'll get all of these bits in and sorted. This should be dry in a minute. Well, not dry, but be enough for us to open. And I'll get those together. Let's put you guys there. And the butterfly. Oh, because all I did with the butterfly in the bit in the center is I literally creased it down the middle and then just put the glue along the crease and then put that in the center. Right, let's see if this is dry enough, because you do really need to leave this alone. This does need a little bit of decoration. So now when I open it, it's going to open, and then you move from one side to the other. So we've got, this is where, so where, what I'll do is where I put in that corner, I would stick that down with some glue, which means then I can put in the tag and it's held in place. And then you've got the pockets here that you can decorate however you want to decorate the cards. Now the choice is yours. You can leave them plain or white. So they're all there, but that is the red version of it. And it's interactive. Or let's put you to one side. There is the original orange version as well, which moves across. So as you can see, there's one of the corners, the paper dolls that I've just put the tag in. And then for the pockets, I've decorated the fronts, the cards that went in there, the journaling cards. So it just moves center there, as you can see, the center of the butterfly, stuck it to the crease and works that way. So you can see each of the papers will create or work in a completely different way. But I will get that in an envelope to Mandy and let Mandy randomly select. So thank you everyone for all your time. And I did try, and even with prepping that did take a little bit longer, so thank you ever so much for your patience. Oh, it would help if I picked up the pin. And I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, I wanted to do something a little bit different, but I wanted it to be journal-y, sort of-ish, but in a different way. Sort of-ish in a different way. And I hope, yeah, I hope you enjoyed trying that out. As Mandy said, there's 10% off all the palette papers, doesn't matter which size you go for. So take care, and I hope to see you soon. And obviously next Saturday, there is something happening. I'm assuming Leonie will say something in the week. And I know Alison said she's sharing a sneak peek from tomorrow too. That reminds me, I must get my stuff in the post to Leonie. Okay, everyone. Take care, and thanks ever so much, Mandy Leone, for asking me again. See you all soon. Bye.